Welcome back, everybody. Wanted to do another tabletop or cleaning bench review of the pistol you see in front of you, which is one of the first semi-automatic handguns ever produced. It's, of course, the Mauser C96, or as we call it now, the Broomhandle Mauser, because of the obvious shape of the handle. These have attained quite collector status, of course, being one of the first successful semi-automatic firearms. This particular one was produced in either 1915 or 1916, most likely. Mauser records for that time period are pretty sketchy at the best because of the fact they were lost or destroyed when the occupation of Germany came after the war. This particular one is a wartime commercial version. There are several versions of these. I believe, 5 main versions? No, I think that's correct. This one being the second version, which is the wartime commercial. These were never adopted by the German military, as might be believed. They were used by the German military, and this one is a military firearm, and as so far as that goes. And I'll show you how we can determine that. This was a gun show find at a very reasonable price. You know, I'm always a budget shopper for collector firearms, and this one is on the higher end of collector's guns, especially for pistols. Even at a good deal, they're kind of expensive because of their unique features, their wartime history, limited as it might be. Also made famous by Winston Churchill as the firearm he claimed saved his life. And of course, Han Solo, his blaster in the Star Wars series, as it changed many times, was based off a Mauser Broomhandle or Mauser C96. Of course, the C96 stands for 1896, which is when this firearm first started being produced. As I said, this one's 1915 or 1916, produced during World War I. We'll flip it over and take a closer look at it. See very few markings on the firearm. The wartime versions supposedly have a little rougher machine work on them. This is not the first time you've seen a C96. A friend of mine also had his on the show here some time ago. We actually shot it. You can go back and look that up. Now this one, extremely nice condition. As I said, the fellow said he was got it in a, I can't remember if he got it in a trade or inherited it, but he just had no interest in it. Said he tried shooting it and couldn't hit anything with it, so he gave up on it pretty quickly. Part of the problem with it when I got it was it would not fully go back into battery because the springs were weak, being 100 years old. They were in dire need of replacement, so a few dollars later, $20 or so, we brought it back to where it functions completely within specs. One other little problem I had was with the hammer. The hammer had a little deformation on it that was bothering me, and in safety's sake, and for the reason I don't want to destroy the original hammer, the numbers matching hammer. This is an all numbers matching gun. I went ahead and found a replacement of the correct style. This is the new safety style, but this does not have the NS printed on it, and the numbers won't match on that one. But for functioning, for shooting, I'm going to use this hammer and save the original. The original might have been fine, but with that little bit of deformation in there, I was worrying of it cracking and then ruining a completely numbers matching gun. You can see the sights marked out to 1,000 meters. Quite optimistic for a handgun, you might think. But, of course, these handguns are quite unique in the fact that their holster also becomes a stock. And this is one style of holster. There are others. Let me grab this one. This is a leather holster. This is, of course, a reproduction. It's not that great of a reproduction, but I got it mostly to hold the firearm as I take it to the range. and give it a little bit of protection. The nice thing about it is the magazine pockets there where we hold the stripper clips. It doesn't use magazine, it's got an internal magazine. And the stripper clips and ammunition fit just fine, whereas this one, it was a little tight, and I have a block of wood shaped to the shape of a set of a clip, stripper clip loaded with the ammo, just to keep that blocked out and stretched out. This one, particular one, has a cleaning rod with it, fit on the belt. But let me pop it out there and show you how it functions and explain a few things on that. And once again, these were loved by many countries, built by several. A couple, the Chinese loved these and always carried them in the carbine configuration with the shoulder stock attached. Now, I was mentioned earlier, I would show you how we know it's a military firearm, and that little mark right there is the military mark. That is the military proof. These other proof marks are the commercial proof marks, as we can see there. And all of your firearms will have these. If you discover this, you've got a military proofed firearm. So back to this interesting holster. Has a little push button here, pops open, and the pistol will slip right in. It's a nice snug fit, as you can see. See how well it fits. And there we go. We'll drop it back into the leather holster on your belt, or in some cases they were shoulder holsters, and off you go. And of course, the second function of the holster is it becomes a shoulder stock. Now don't get worried here, I'm not breaking any laws by fitting a pistol with a shoulder stock is normally creating a short barrel rifle. But in this case, we're not doing that. There's 3 exceptions to that rule. The Mauser C96 is one, the Luger P08 is one, and I have the letters from the ATF that approve this. And of course the Broomhandle C96 Mauser is the third that are allowed to have this attached and not be considered a short barrel rifle. It makes for a fantastic shooting experience. Quite fun, quite accurate, very steady to hold this little 7.62 Mauser. Now there was a red 9 version that would have the enormous red 9 imprinted upon the grips to indicate it was a 9mm version. This of course is not. This is the 7.62 Mauser, identical to the 7.63 Tokarev round in all respects, except for if you shoot the Tokarev round in your Mauser, you'll most likely blow your Mauser up. Quite a bit higher pressure round than the Mauser round. So anyway, we can fit this gun stock or the shoulder stock to this rifle, or this and turn it into basically a short barrel rifle, but it's not. According to the ATF, we're okay with this. I have letters letting us do that to all 3 firearms. I have the letters in my possession just in case somebody questioned it and was fearful that I had broken the law, but we don't. There are many videos on YouTube, people shooting them. That's not a problem with the Broomhandle Mausers. We'll continue and show you some more markings on the gun, various different markings depending on the year they were produced, and of course where they were produced. This is just an aftermarket lanyard, both used based on a real one, fairly accurate I believe. based both on used rather on the Luger and on the Mauser. There's some confusion about the little star marking, if we can get it to focus up there. That was a military mark, but I've seen that on many Mausers. Not necessarily a military marking. It's just an assembly marking, I believe, perhaps a proof mark. That little star right there. The various sights were used on them. This one is missing the 900 meter. It's the correct sight for this particular gun. I'm getting fingerprints on it, but we'll clean it up before we throw it back in the safe. So there we have it. What a fun gun to find at a gun show, just walking through, and it was very much worth it to get it. I think I got it about half price of what these are going for. The shoulder stocks alone can sell for $700, an original one. The aftermarket ones, quality ones, will probably cost you in the neighborhood of $200 for a good quality unit with the correct type round head screws and the correct cutouts. And of course this spring should be moved over to be absolutely correct, but it's a very nice functioning unit that will do its job, has a correct look. And I'm not sure if it's walnut as the originals were. It sure looks like it possibly could be. I kind of doubt it though. But at least it gives the form and function, which is part of that ATF rule. The ridge has to be approximately the same dimensions, look, as the original in order to be correctly done without breaking the law, without being in violation of the short SBR clause of the Gun Control Act. So be careful with that. And other than that, if you can find one, grab it up. They are not getting any cheaper like any other military surplus, especially if you can find one like this that we lucked out on, and the guy just didn't want it anymore, wasn't happy with it, and I'm exceedingly happy with it. It's going to be a fine shooter once we got the couple little problems sorted out. And all in all, what a fun little firearm. So we'll continue on next time with some more great military surplus firearms. We're going to continue on with another budget firearm next probably, and then we'll get into some more some collections that I've expanded recently, such as the Gras rifles and Krag that we found on budget, and some other fun stuff. So if you enjoy old World War II firearms and even a few modern ones, stop by again next time and we'll take a look at another firearm or two. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next time.